Hey, fellow problem solvers, Colfax Math here. Today we have an arithmetic reasoning practice exam for 2025 for the ASVAB military placement exam. The way you learn how to juggle is by practicing. You can't just watch a video on me juggling. You got to actually juggle to learn how. That's exactly the same thing with math. The only way you're going to be able to get good at this is by doing a lot of practice. So I'd highly recommend you have a notebook out, a pencil, you pause the video, do the problems before I do them, unpause the video, and watch how I do the problem. 15 problems in this practice exam. There are a few tips and tricks. They are multiple choice problems, so sometimes there's an easy way to figure out a shortcut to save time on the exam, and there are also no calculator exams. You could get more information, support, and help, tutoring at this website right here. It's an app you could download, or you could go to the web page. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Problem number one. Remember, pause the video. Do this problem first. Unpause the video and watch how I do it. Okay, so I circle key points. The plumber charges $45 for a service call plus $25 for every hour. So that's a flat fee and that's a rate. If he works at a house for 3 hours, that's a key number, what will a bill be? So I'm going to pay that $45 no matter what, and then I'm going to take 25 times 3. 25 times 3 is going to give me 75 on the hourly rate, plus the flat fee of 45. Add those together, I get 10, carry the 1, 11, 12, $120. Correct answer, answer A right there. Problem number two. Faith went to the grocery store to buy apples. Each apple cost 78 cents, and she spent a total of $4.68. So the number of apples times the 78 equals $4.68. How many apples did she buy? So I have to figure out the number of apples times the price per apple is the total price. So that means I have to take that $4.68 and divide it by the 78 cents to get the total number of apples. Let me look over my answers, see if there are any giveaways. They're all really close. They're all even integers, so I know it's going to go in evenly. I can't really quite figure that out, so I think I'm just going to pick the 6 and try that. 78 cents times 6 is 48. Carry the 4. 42 plus 4 is 468. So it is the 6. 6 goes into there evenly. Correct answer, answer A right there. Okay, problem number 3. To reach his treehouse, Raymond must climb 9 1/3 feet. So that's a mixed number, a number and a fraction. Up a rope ladder, then he climbed another 8 5/6 feet up the tree trunk. How far does he have to climb all together? Look at my answers. I can't really eliminate anything. Everything's in feet, including all my answers, so I'm not going to do any conversions. So I have the mixed number 9 1/3 plus the other one, 8 5/6, and I have to add those together. I think I'm just going to add the whole numbers together first. So I have the 9 and the 8 to give me 17. Then I have to add the two fractions together. So I have to add 1/3 plus 5/6. The way I add fractions is I have to have a common denominator, meaning the bottom number has to be the same. There's no equation here. I can't do whatever I want to both sides because there is no both sides. I can only multiply by 1 so as not to affect the value. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to multiply it by a factor of 1. Right? 2 over 2 is the equivalent of 1. But what that allows me to do is that's going to give me the 6 in the bottom. So now I have 2 6 plus 5 6. I have that common denominator. It's the same number on the bottom. So I add across the top to get 7 over 6. 7 over 6 is greater than 1. So 6 goes into 7 one time with 1 left over. So 7 6 is the same or the equivalent of 1 1/6. And I have to add that to the 17. So I have 1 and 1/6, and that 17 to give me 18 and 1/6. Correct answer, answer C right there. Okay, number 4, approximately how many 5 1/4 ounce glasses can be filled from 33.5 ounce container of juice? All the units are the same, so there's nothing to do with the units here or unit conversions. If I were to round this down to 5, 5 times 6 is 30, 5 times 7 is 35. So it's going to be somewhere between 6 and 7. We're going to actually have to do this problem out, and then we're going to have to round accordingly. So what I'm saying is this number divided by that number will give me the number of glasses. So I have 33 and a half divided by 5 1/4. I still have mixed numbers here. So the way I turn that into an improper fraction is I take that whole number, multiply it by the denominator, add the numerator. So 33 times 2, 66 plus 1 is 67 over 2, divided by, you do the same thing here with this mixed number, 5 times 4, 20, plus 1, 21/4. The way I divide fractions is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I change that to that, and then I flip that over to 4 over 21. I could just multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, or see if I could cancel anything at all. The only thing that'll cancel is 2 will go into here once, and 2 will go into here twice. Then 67 times 2 is 120 plus 14, 134 over 21. It's not really that easy of a problem. So now there's my answer. And again, 21 times 6 is like 120 a little bit. So it's going to be a little bit more than 6. If I had to guess, I'd guess the 6 right now, but let's divide this out now. 21 into 134. It's going to go in there 6 times. 6 times 20, 120 plus the 6, 126. Then I got to subtract here. Got to borrow from here to make that a 14. This is an 8. I bring down a 0. A decimal place will go here. 21 into 80 is less than 4. It has to be like 3. That's going to give me 63. I could keep going, but I could see this is less than 0.5. So I'm going to have to round down to the 6. Correct answer, C right there. Quite a hard problem. I mean, first we got to figure out that it is division. Then we got to take these mixed numbers and turn them into improper fractions. Then we have to know the algorithm of division of fractions, which is multiplying by the reciprocal. Then we got to take this improper fraction and convert it back into a whole number in pieces and then round accordingly. A lot of steps in that problem. Okay, problem number 5. A carpenter earns $12.30 an hour for a 40-hour week. His overtime pay is 1.5 times his base pay. If he puts in a 46-hour week, how much is his weekly pay? So that means he's making $12.30 times that 40. And then we got to figure out time and a half. So we got to figure out half of what that is and then add it to that amount. So half of 12 is 6. Half of 30 is 15. And I'm going to add that to that 12.30. So I have 5, 4, 8, 18.45. So he makes $12.30 an hour for the first 40. Then he does a 46-hour a week. So he's going to make this amount, time and a half, right? There's time, a half, time and a half. So he's going to make $18.45 for the additional 6 hours. We could do it a few different ways. I guess we could do, yeah, this is probably the best way to do it. I don't know if there are any really quick shortcuts here. See if we can eliminate any answers. Well, this is going to be, 40 times like $500 here alone. So this is way out of the category. We could eliminate that one. But if this is like $450, this is going to be another $120. So we're pretty close to $600. If I had to guess, I'd guess A right now, especially if I was running out of time. But let's go ahead and multiply this out. On regular time, these are going to be zeros all the way over. Then I have a placeholder here. Then I do 4 times 0, 4 times 3, 12, carry the 1, 8, 9. And then 4 times 1, 4. So in regular time, you make 0, 0, 2, 9, 4. And then we have 2 decimal places over, so it makes $492 regular time. And then let's see how much he makes in overtime. 6 times 5, 30, carry the 3, 24, 25, 26, 27, carry the 2, 48 plus 2, 50, carry the 5, 6 plus 5, 11, again, 2 decimal places over. I'm actually just going to drop those 70 cents because it's not even close. So then I have $110 in overtime and $492 in regular time. It's going to be 2, 10, carry the 1, 602, and 70 cents. So correct answer, answer A right there. Problem number 6. Each year a restaurant rent is adjusted to the cost of living index. The rent has been $21.50 a month, and the cost of living index is going up about 4%. What is the new rent per month? So the rent's going up. It's going up not that much, 4%. I mean, it's a lot per month. Looking at these answers right here, it's got to be more than $21.50. This is not. This is less. This is less, so it can't be those two. This is a little bit more, and that's a whole lot more, right? That's like 50% more. So the only answer that's going to work is answer D. You don't really have to do all those calculations out. But I'll go ahead and multiply them out, right? It has to be more than this, and it's not that much more. It's like 4% more, so it's not going to be that much more. But just to show you how to multiply this out, I have $21.50. This is the amount it's going to go up. The way I do this, I convert this to a decimal, is I have 3.7%. I think of this as like a little arrow shooting it over 2 places. So that's 0.037. So I multiply this by 0.037. That's going to be 0.35. Carry the 3. 10. Carry the 1. 14, 15. Placeholder. 0, 15. Carry the 1. 4, 6. And then the next one's going to be 0, so I don't need to multiply it out. 0, 5, 5, 9, 7. I am over 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So I go over 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So the rent is going up $80. So $21.50 plus that $80 is going to bring it up to, what is that, 13, carry the 1, 2, 22.30, 22.30. Answer D right there. Problem number 7, the cost of a leather jacket went from 60 to 90. What is the percent increase? So I'm going to do the 90 minus 60 to see how much it goes up. So it went from $30 more. Then I take that amount of increase and divide it by that amount to get 30 over 60. I can reduce that fraction, 3 over 6. 3 goes into here once, into here twice, giving me 1/2 or 50% markup. So correct answer, answer A. Problem number 8, what is the reduced price of a $60 raincoat after a 10% discount, 10% discount, 30% discount. So I'm going to start at 60, multiply it by over 1 over 2.1. I'm going to get $6 off, right? 10% of 66. So after the first discount, it's 54. Then I'm going to get another 10% discount. That's going to be $5.40. That's going to bring it down like $49 or so. So it's going to be $49 after this discount, and then 30% off of that. So then I got to figure out how much I'm getting off of that. Let's just say we're rounding here to like 50 bucks. 50 times 30, that's going to give me 15. So it's going to be $15 off of that. So about $35. I'm going to look over here. There's only one even close to that, so it has to be answer A. So if you're running out of time, you have to guess. You always want to look at your multiple choice answers and make sure you're not missing the obvious. But if I'll do this more accurately, 54 is correct. If I want to do 5% from that, it's going to be 540 from that. So this is going to be 54 minus 540. I got to borrow here. 10 minus 4 is 6. I got to borrow here. 13 minus 5 is 8. So 48.60 after the second 10%. Then I'm going to have to multiply this by 30%, which is 0.3. 30% 0.3. 18, carry the 1, 24, 25. Carry the 2, 12, 13, 14. My decimal place is over 1 over 2, so I'm over 1, 2. So from that 48.60, it comes down another $14.50. So I would go 48.60 minus 14.58 to get the exact of 2 cents there, 4.3402, answer A. Number 9, these are always hard for me because I don't know, the wording seems kind of tricky. But the key is to kind of write out what the words are. So 6 is 25% of a number. So that's how I do it. Well, I converted 25% to a decimal. I remember it goes over 1, 2 to get 0.25. So 6 is an equal sign. 6 is equal to. 6 is 25% of a number. I don't know what that number is, so I call it x. Then once I have that, I have to get x by itself. I divide both sides by 25% or 0.25. These cancel. That gives me x by itself. And then 6 divided by 0.25, that's like 6 divided by a quarter, right? 6 divided by a quarter. The way I multiply, or the way I divide fractions, is I multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by the reciprocal, flipped over, so that's 24. So x is equal to 24. And that's always going to be one of your answers as a deliberate distractor, but that's not the problem. The problem says, what is 50% of that same number? Well, if the number is 24, what is 50% of that number? 50% is a half, so I cut that thing in half to get 12. Correct answer, answer A. That's a good problem there. A lot of wording, very, very typical kind of arithmetic reasoning kind of problem, and usually like a couple of steps. Easy to get the first part, and then remembering to do the second half, to read carefully to get the second part of that problem. Problem number 10, Bailey loaned Robin $1,500, simple interest at 7%, repays the loan after 2 years. That's written out, so it's easy to miss that number. So it's 2 years. How much would she have to pay? So we got to make sure we keep that 2 into account. I'm going to take that $1,500, figure out how much interest that is after 1 year, 7%. Again, the way I convert that, I think of this arrow 2 over, so I go over 1, 2. So that's 0.07. So I'm going to multiply this by 0.07. 0, 0, 35. Carry the 3, 10. My decimal place is over 1, 2, 1, 2. So I pay $105 of interest per year. So I pay $1,500. I got to pay that principal back. Plus that $105 per year. Remembering it's 2 years, I got to pay that interest twice. That's going to give me a 10, carry the 1, 7, 17, 10. So the amount I have to pay back, 1,710. Answer C. Number 11, on a trip you drive 350 miles at a rate or average speed of 60. Then you return home at an average speed of 70. So you go to some place at 60 miles per hour, and then you go back at 70 miles per hour. How long did it take? So we're looking for hours here. So if I have 350 miles, so if that's in miles, and I got 60 miles per hour, well, I want hours. So I'm going to write 1 hour is equal to 60 miles, right? So 60 miles per hour. But I do it this way, so my miles will cancel, and that's going to give me hours. Right? This is like a fraction 1. I multiply there, which is dividing by that 60. 350 divided by that 60. It's going to go in there 5 times to give me 30. And 50 5 times again. So it's about 55, right? No, wait, what am I doing here? Times 8. Sorry, that's wrong. This is an 8. 58 will give me 48. So it's about 5.8, right? So it's going to take me 5.8 hours to go there. So 5 hours to go there. On the way back, I'm going 70 miles per hour. It is the same distance. So now this is 350 miles times my rate of 1 hour, 70 miles on the way back. Miles cancel. 350 divided by 70 is 5. So on the way there, it's 5.8 hours. On the way back, it's 5 hours for a total of 5 plus 5.8, 5 plus 5.8, 10.8. Correct answer, answer C right there. Problem number 12. In a group of 10 students, 7 of the students are 13 years old, and 3 are 17 years old. What is the average age of these 10 students? So this 7 and 3 is a total of 10. So there are 10 students, and these are the ages. I can multiply the number of people who are 13 plus the number of people who are 17, then divide by that 10. So 7 times 13 is 70 plus 21, 91 years. 3 times 17, 30. Plus 21, 51 years. Add those together to get 2. 14, 142 total years. And then there are 10 of them. So I have to do 142 divided by that 10 to get 14.2. And you can see 142 is a distractor. You know, you come up with that 142 and you want to reach for the D and circle it. But it's 14.2, and that makes sense. Because if the majority of them are pretty young, you'd expect the average to be a little closer to 13 than 17. So correct answer, answer A right there. Oh, well, that's it. 12 out of 12. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you did the problems alongside of me. If you like this video, go ahead and like, comment, ask your questions in the comments. I'll try and get them answered. Hit subscribe, notification. I try and do these ASVAB prep videos, I don't know, every now and again as much as I can. Keep studying. The more you study, the better you're going to do. Thank you for watching.